It's Monday, May 21st, and you're listening to The Geek at Geek News Central, show number 767, sponsored in part by GoDaddy.com. Save 25% on a fourth-generation hosting account by using the promo code NAB. Geek News Central is a proud member of the Tech Podcast Network. If it's tech, it's here. Hey, folks, we're here with a new studio. We're on the road. It's going to be an interesting show. And for those of you watching video, there is no audio intro tonight because that's one piece I haven't figured out. You know what comes next. Strap in. Here it comes. Aloha and welcome to the Geek News Central podcast, coming to you as live as it can be from not Jacksonville, Washington, D.C. via the Geek News Central high-definition mobile broadcast studio. Sounds like a mouthful, doesn't it? Well, I tell you, we're here. Things are up and running, and you never know what you're going to really learn about a system until you really get it away from the confines of Honolulu, and you're able to basically get it set up and use it for the very first time. And so far, I've learned a couple of things today. I've learned a couple of tricks, learned some things I didn't need. We'll talk about that here in a few minutes. And for those of you that are checking out the show for the very first time, you're probably wondering, what in the world is he talking about? Well, it's all about our new HD mobile broadcast studio, and really wanted to be able to up the game on the show here while I was on the road, and doing a little bit of a trickery here to make some cool stuff happen. But if you're new to the show, I want to make sure you get over to geeknewscentral.com. Check out all the great content on the website. Of course, while you're over there, we want to get you subscribed, and really all you have to do to subscribe to the show is pick an RSS feed there, Geek News Central Audio, Geek News Video. Of course, one of our other shows like Saturday Morning Tech, The Gadget Professor, Robot Underpants, and of course the Chrome Show. While you're at the website, we want to make sure you get signed up for the newsletter. The newsletter will contain everything that I'm going to talk about in the show tonight, including all of the show notes. If you want to view all the show notes from the show, you'll find a link on that on the actual blog post at Geek News Central today as well. Well, of course, if you check the show out later and you've missed the show, we want you to be able to watch the show on the Roku, on the Boxee, on Samsung Smart TV, or even on your Google TV. And you can do that by loading the Tech Podcast channel available to you. Now, there's lots of ways to reach out to the show. And, of course, the first way I want to encourage you to do is just tweet me at Geek News. That's a great way to reach out to me on the show. Of course, you can email me at geeknews@gmail.com, geeknews@gmail.com, or you can call our 24-hour hotline at 619-342-7365 to leave a comment. And that way you'll stay abreast of everything that's going on with the show and stay current. Well, I tell you, what I had to do when I got here into D.C. was get everything set up. And really the biggest challenge, just like any other time that I'm traveling, is the ability to have good bandwidth. And of course, this hotel, for all intents and purposes, does not have good bandwidth. So we're streaming the show tonight on my MiFi, and learned a couple of tricks on the new system as well. We were going to be showing you screens like I showed you a few minutes ago by showing the Geek News Central screen by basically sending it over to an Apple TV. But I kind of figured out, well, you really don't need to do that as long as you remember to turn off the lower third. We have the ability within this new switcher to actually have the HDMI input from the computer put right into the switching device, and that way I'm going to be able to show you guys web pages like I've been able to do in the past on the show, which is going to be a lot of fun. It's just, unfortunately, it's a two button click if I want to take down the lower third for you. But for those of you watching the video tonight, or watching the video from the show, this is what we're going to do for the next contest that we've got going on. Love to hear you guys' thoughts. I want you to take a look at the video, see what the quality of the video is, if you what you think, how it compares. Obviously, we don't have the green screen up and running tonight. That is something that we basically had to leave Honolulu without. So as soon as I get the green screen delivered, which I assume it's going to be in the next week or so, it was supposed to be a 2-week delivery, but they were a little bit late, we'll be able to green screen behind me and not have to have the hotel back screen, and we'll be able to have something cooler. So that'll be an increase for the show. So what I do want to do is we did have the survey contest on the last show, and I want to congratulate Sonya Jensen. She is our winner. She is going to be awarded a iPod Nano. So congratulations to Sonya. What we're going to be doing on the next show for the next contest is I just want you guys to comment on the new studio interaction and some of the things we're going to be able to do tonight. So those of you that are watching the video of this show, definitely want you to make a comment, send it to geeknews@gmail.com, and that way you'll be able to get that in and let me know what you think of how the setup works and the video quality, lip sync, and all that stuff. Because I'm really worried to see how that's going to work over the course of the show. If the lip sync stays in sync, we'll know on post editing. But that's what's going on. So anyway, here in the DC area, obviously getting ready to have a big week here with a variety of meetings. Arrived yesterday afternoon. Actually had some stuff going on today, but heart of my meetings start tomorrow. Hey, one thing I do want to do here before we get too deep into the content is I want to take a moment and I want to thank our sponsor, one of our sponsors that we have for the show. And of course, one of our sponsors that's been here for a while is GoDaddy. And I tell you, we've got some great offers for you here. And I want you to pay attention to this because I'm going to save you a lot of money. If you're looking for a hosting account, their 4th generation hosting account, you can save 25% on their plan by using the promo code NAB. And really, all you got to do is go over there and sign up for a 1-year plan. Plans start from anywhere from $8.49 up a month. Even their economy plans are pretty low at $4.24, so you can go get their economy plan, but definitely save yourself a lot of money. Don't forget, when you're over at Geek News Central, you'll be able to find all my promo codes by going over to geeknewscentral.com/GoDaddy, and that has a link with all the promo codes that are on there. Now, our May special for new customers of GoDaddy, you're going to be able to save 25% off your entire order. This is for new GoDaddy customers only by using the promo code 25May3. So again, 25May3, and that promo code will get you 25% off your first order. Again, you got to be a brand new customer at GoDaddy, but that's going to save you a lot of money. But again, if you get over to geeknewscentral.com/GoDaddy, you'll be able to use all my codes if you're an existing customer. ComSale 3 is the .com renewals at $8.49. ComSale is the code you'll want to use if you're getting a brand new .com at $7.99. So this is a great way to essentially get hooked up and make some major savings. We want to thank our sponsors here at Geek News Central as always, and definitely want to hope you guys will check GoDaddy out. They make the things we do possible in a large way, and so we appreciate it if you support them. All right, let me go ahead here and get into the full line of tech tonight. I do have a good stack of stuff, and I'm just going to do a quick check. Yeah, it looks like that's working. You know, it's one thing you got to do when you're doing the show with a brand new setup of gear. You got to make sure everything's making it to disk, everything's recording, because if you don't, it's the fastest way to, I guess for a better word, end up with a bad recording, especially the first go-around. Those of you that are on the audio portion of the show only, love to hear you guys' feedback on the audio quality as well. Using a brand new device, we're using what's called a Motu, and basically we're we've gone completely digital here. We're no longer feeding any analog signals except from between here and the device. And at some point, I'll probably switch up to wireless on the audio side. But let's talk just a little bit about Facebook. Of course, Facebook came out of the block here a couple of days ago with their initial public offering, and boy, oh boy, they just it was not a good start. And then again today, immediately Facebook closed at $34, far below the $38 IPO offering. This is an article over at the Washington Post. So obviously, these investors that bought in at 38 and spent billions of their dollars are now losing money already. Stock's down 11%. So anyone that has gotten shares from, of course, starting on Friday and then through today, already their investment's down 11%. This is not a start to basically a company's listing. But, I think what we're going to have to watch here is see how far this thing goes down And at some point, there might be an opportunity here for people that are looking to get on the Facebook stock if the price goes much lower. But it is an interesting development here by the folks at Facebook, and basically the initial stock price falling below the IPO price. Time will tell where this goes. Now, over the weekend, though, Zuck ended up getting married. He married his long-time girlfriend. So congratulations to Zuck on that. Apparently, he got married without a prenup. That's at least the word on the street. There's a picture of them here on the website. And, I've seen pictures of her before, and she must have lost some weight for her wedding day, but she looks much different than what I remember her from before, seeing pictures in the past. But brides always do that. They'll try to lose as much weight as they can for their marriage date. But congratulations to Zuck and his girlfriend and now wife Priscilla. So but it's interesting that it was one day after he became, one of the world's richest men. I think he was number 22, but according to some divorce lawyers, it was smart for him to have gotten married after they got after the IPO, which is kind of weird. But there was, I guess there is no word whether there was a prenup or not. But he says that some folks say his assets are largely protected. Well, no matter what, if you're rich like Zuck and you get married, you know that if you ever end up getting the big D, you're going to go down you're going to end up writing a big check as normally would be in any other type of divorce settlement. So we wish the two couples. Isn't that horrible? Automatically think about someone getting a divorce in the future when they first get married. But anyway, congratulations on them, and wish them the best of luck. All right, NASDAQ, boy oh boy, they confronted liability on trader losses. There is fallout. There was big issues during the initial day of trading on Facebook's stock. There was brokers and traders are demanding that the exchange make up losses they blame on Friday's technical glitches, and the volume was just so heavy that they could not handle it all, and that is what really they're complaining about, and they've actually investigated what has happened, and they've admitted some fault for the stock offering and the trading, and so I'm sure this will be a big fallout over time. But, when you have a stock that traded 500 million, the volume was 500 million shares in the first day of trading, and I don't think they expected that type of that volume. One guy was a 66-year-old gentleman in North Carolina who bought 1,000 shares of Facebook a few minutes after it opened for trading with a plan to ride the gains that tech IPOs often enjoy. Sell the stock if it slipped below 40. He says 2 minutes after he put in the buy order on Charles Schwab account, he saw that it hadn't been executed yet, but Facebook shares were sliding towards 40, and he was getting nervous, and he decided to cancel the order. So apparently 6 hours of silence then followed, and at 6:14, Schwab told him he had bought the shares at 40, and that he still held them despite the cancellation request. So he said, I was basically stuck for 6 hours trying to figure out whether I own this dog or not. And he lost $3,000 when he sold his shares on Monday. And so anyways, there's big delays in the trade. Because, when you're out buying stock and when you do that order, relatively quickly if the order went through and whether or not you own the stock. And then, you can very quickly after that unload it if you want to. But anyway, they feel that there was a number of bad trades, and they've already earmarked up as $13 million to fix that if that was the actual case. Now, a new announcement today was that by the folks, what was the name of the company that actually, StatCounter. Of course, StatCounter is the same company I use to do stats on Geek News Central. According to data from StatCounter, Google's Chrome squeaked ahead of Microsoft Internet Explorer for the very first time. So this is pretty big news here. If this actually is the case, this is big. eWeek is reporting on it, but it says that the two internet browsers have been on a crash course for some time. They say that StatCounter's graphic shows that usership of the two creating a near-perfect sideways V since at least May of 2011, with IE on a slow downgrade, Chrome on a seemingly matched upgrade. The bottom points finally touch and continuing their pass at the 32% mark. Now, there is some discussion about whether or not this is really the case, but this was only one day at this specific milestone, but it just goes to prove you that Chrome has made some major inroads. Of course, Chrome is what I'm using tonight. To actually, have the shows up here in tabs, and it's what I've been using for a while. It's probably the most stable of any browser that I've been using for a long time. All right, let's talk about CEO compensation for just a second. Apple's Tim Cook and Oracle's Larry Ellison had the highest CEO compensation in 2011. Now, check this out for a compensation package. Now, Tim Cook started out with a base salary of $900,000. So, you think about, he's running one of the most highly valued companies in the United States. And, $900,000 doesn't seem like a lot. But before Steve Jobs died in October, Apple awarded Cook 1 million restricted shares, which were then worth about $376 million. As of Friday's closing price, the shares would be worth more than $530 million. Now, the shares are tightly restricted. Cook can sell half of them after 2016 and the other half after 2021, and were meant to be compensation for a decade's worth of work. You think about that compensation package, it's huge, and it's all contingent upon Apple continuing to make money and moving forward. Now, the second highest compensation package belongs to Oracle CEO Larry Ellison. In 2011, he received a bonus of $13.3 million and a stock options worth $62.7 million, putting his total compensation at $76 million. And this, rounding out the top five, were CEOs from other companies. CBS CEO Les Moonves, 69.3. JCPenney CEO at 53.3. Isn't JCPenney in major financial? Don't they have major financial issues? Motorola Mobility CEO Sanjay Jha at 46.6, and that's huge. So it looks like that he's going to, when Motorola is finally. The mobility network is finally acquired by Google, which is what they're saying is maybe going to happen this week. He is be relieved of his duties and probably will be coming down in his salary compensation, obviously. But so anyway, that's kind of the round out of these guys that are the CEOs that are making money. I don't mind these CEOs making money so long as the companies are making money. Of course, these stock prices are all tied to performance a lot of times for these folks that are actually working at these companies as their leaders. All right, I know many of you are getting ready here for the Memorial Day weekend. I'll be flying back to Honolulu this coming Saturday, and I'll be joined the rest of the weekend after I get home with my wife and kids. But if you're getting ready to head out, AAA Michigan says gas prices were up 5 cents in the past week. But I'll be honest with you, I looked at the price of gas here in D.C. was at $3.69 for a regular. I was paying $4.69 $4.69 in Honolulu before I left for regular. So I was talking with a buddy of mine that's here. I said, "Man, wouldn't you wish the gas was this cheap in Honolulu?" And we kind of laughed together. But that's just kind of the way it is, you know. You have to pay what the man tries to put in front of you, and that's or you walk. I want to talk about an article over on Gizmodo. This has made some headlines here, and I'll actually bring it up so you guys can see it on the video. A mom has embarrassed her daughter so hard on Facebook, she's been basically begging for a spanking. the picture on her Facebook page says this: since I want to post photos of me holding liquor, I'm obviously not ready for social media and will be taking a hiatus until I learn what I should and should not post. Bye bye. And it's a little, basically a smiley face with the frown. And so, you think about this. This 12-year-old was obviously doing some stuff she shouldn't be doing. Her mother caught her drinking, posing with a bottle of vodka, an Instagram photo with a caption, I sure wish I could drink this. Unfortunately, the mom just basically completely decided that she was going to be pulled off social media, and her daughter was begging to be spanked, but she removed her from the social media site. Now, here's how I look at this. If you are 12 and you're posting yourself with a picture of alcohol, absolutely, I think the mom made the right call. Took her off social media, took her off Facebook, took her off all her basically having your give up sites for posting pictures and so forth. A whooping's a short-term painful thing for kids, but at the same time, taking away it's like taking away the keys to the car, right? And but at least this mom didn't go out and shoot a laptop, but she did make her post a photo, and so she's off the net for a while. And I think this was a smart move on this mom's part. But humility goes a long way. I remember when I was a kid, I did something I wasn't supposed to, and my mom humiliated me to the point where it left a very lasting impression, and I can guarantee you I will use that tactic if it ever comes up with my kids. It was that good. So it's interesting to see, different, double click something here. That's all right. Let's click this one time. There we go. It's nice to see parents are using some of those tactics in the digital world. Hey, if you got comments on tonight's show, definitely want to remind you can email me here, geeknews@gmail.com. Of course, our hotline is open 24 hours a day at 619-342-7365. You can also reach me at Twitter at Geek News as well. Now, surprisingly, there's a report out on computerworld.com talking about fewer U.S. mobile users are paying a monthly bill. And their subtitle to this is, for the first time, postpaid subscriptions fell in the first quarter at the biggest U.S. carrier. For the first time ever, U.S. mobile operators reported a net decline in postpaid subscribers who sign up for ongoing service and pay a monthly bill. The 7 major carriers together lost about 52,000 postpaid subscribers from 2011's fourth quarter to the first quarter 2012. Now, the question is, why did it drop? They say that it may have been partly seasonal because the first quarter is typically slow for postpaid subscriptions. But, the carriers have been tying their growth and their profitability to bringing on more carriers on a regular basis. So, what is the, are they now just soaking more money out of this to the point where the mobile provider, people have gotten sick of having these higher bills and they've canceled kids' phones or something? I don't know. This is a discussion that's going on at my house right now. Is really, I've got 3 phones that need to be replaced. All the kids want smartphones. I cannot afford, essentially 4 phones being on a, 4 smartphones. It's just going to be too much money, and I'm hoping, Verizon comes out with their shared data plans and it can be bundled together where the kids and my wife can share a data plan. Now, my data plan is paid for by Raw Voice, as they pay for my phone each month. But at the same point, I don't, I'm not looking forward to having a $200 or $300 bill. It's not going to happen for my wife and 2 kids. And I'll give my wife a phone with a data plan, but the kids are going to have to figure out a way to earn money to do it on their own. And, I don't know, doing a lot of chores each month, that's an awful, $40 they're going to have to get a job. So, what are you guys doing in your households when it comes to, multiple data plans and being able to, take care of the, having everyone up on smartphones? Are you not even, just can't do it? I'd really love to hear what folks are doing. I've got, 2 teenagers at this point, high schoolers, and it's all about their phone, And I guess, the main thing is as long as they can text, that's the important thing, right? I guess the app stuff are all bonus. All right, let's move on to a different topic here. Thunderbolt cables. You got one right here. Paid $39.95 for it. It's a ridiculous amount of ridiculous price. The number of options available for Mac users to buy Thunderbolt cables from outside Apple is finally growing, and so a number of companies have come online. StarTech announced a Thunderbolt cable that is 3 meters long, which is the longest copper cable available yet. It's only available on the UK-based website for about $90 as of Monday. The first Thunderbolt ports were introduced, of course, by Apple in February last year, but customers were obviously stranded in buying their $49 2-meter cable. But more companies are coming on board and being able to having available the Thunderbolt. Lenovo, Acer, and Asus have already announced laptops with Thunderbolt ports. This Dell that I have right here, it has a Thunderbolt port on it as well. And so we'll see where this goes, but definitely could use some relief in the cost of these things, and found this article over at PCWorld.com. All right, the folks over at Slashdot, the thing that I'm seeing, and I got a lot of stuff, we're doing a lot of stuff in the cloud. And one of our biggest challenges of anything that we do in the cloud is you got to look at your bandwidth that you have to upload stuff in, and also, if you're trying to migrate stuff, so what are companies to do when they have terabyte upon terabyte of traffic that they need to upload to a cloud? Well, what they're finding is, as a lot of these companies are making available service where you can send them your initial upload with a disk, and saving literally hours and days of uploading. So, this is definitely one of the challenges of cloud computing. And I know that when I initially put all my stuff up in the cloud, my personal stuff, it was about 10 days to get everything pushed up and kind of in sync. And, to think about moving to a different service is a little bit daunting, in the simple fact that if I do, I know that it's like I can't transfer that stuff from one cloud to the other. So, as that went into some of your guys' thoughts and processes on how you, how you deal with cloud computing? Is this been dependent upon who you picked as a service provider and so forth? Love to hear your feedback. Hey, the folks over at Gizmodo are talking about some new stuff that the folks are at Connect are doing. And this is pretty cool stuff. What they have done with the next improvement round for Connect, they're saying that there's going to be Microsoft is adding face tracking capabilities through a software update, which means Connect will be able to read and react to your facial expressions. So I guess if you act surprised, your avatar is going to act surprised in the game or whatever you're playing. So interesting development by the folks, and of course Connect is a fantastic product. Now, one thing I wasn't able to do was to get you a time. Matter of fact, I need to go back to Geek News Central, and I know that one of our writers had released a. Oh boy, that's smart. I messed something up here. They're going to be launching. I'm going to miss this. SpaceX obviously didn't get off the ground on this past Saturday. They aborted the launch, but SpaceX is going to try and launch again. This launch is going to happen at 3:44 a.m. Tuesday, May 22nd. So we are really at this point about 6 hours away from the launch. It's 9:27 p.m. here in Washington, D.C. So they're going to try this again, and I guess I will see whether or not they made to orbit when I wake up in the morning and I'll watch the replays. But that's their current target. All right, YouTube has made a new announcement. It seems like they're making these announcements about every week, but YouTube has announced that YouTube users are uploading 72 hours of video every minute. and they've seen their video uploads grow over 50% over the last year. So this is a cool article over at GigaOM. So I have that up in the show notes for you to check out. The folks at TechDirt are reporting on a judge in a lawsuit with GrooveShark. The GrooveShark lawsuit. Basically, what they've done is they've ordered that blog to preserve logs that have already been deleted. Now, GrooveShark parent company, Escape Media, was sent a subpoena to retain data on an anonymous commenter on the blog site, Digital Music News. And basically, Universal Music had referenced that comment in its lawsuit against GrooveShark. And basically, what they have done is, GrooveShark said, "Hey, those log files are long gone." But the judge has ruled against Digital Music News in order to produce the information. The judge has indicated that he will not require this information during the appeal, but did require preservation of evidence during that time. Well, here's the funny thing: hey, judge, this stuff's gone; it's deleted, and there's a ruling that's going to be set forth. But how does a company overcome or comply with something they can't comply with? Do they go to jail? So it's going to be a big dilemma for this group, and there could be some precedents set here that could be real ugly. We'll see where this happens. The folks over at Microsoft are talking about some enhancements to Windows 8, basically talking about enhancements for multiple monitors, and they basically wanted to enhance the multi-monitor functionality as an important area to improve a multi-monitor setup. Now, here's something, you guys look at what I've done here today, and really what I've done by being able to put, and those of you that are watching the video, I'm able to bring this article up and show you this. And really what all I've done is taken the HDMI out of this laptop. I've run it into a special box that it will basically scale the video and change it into the video that needs to go into the Blackmagic Design ATEM television studio. And so, I'm able to do that, and it's really slick, and it works out really well. And it's just another functionality of basically being able to have, the screen be able to be enhanced and be able to put on the live video like this tonight. So with Windows 8 makes it even more easy. I'm going to be excited. They're talking about different devices and different type of monitors and so forth. I want to take a moment here and talk just a second about one of our sponsors here at Geek News Central. And I want to encourage you guys to take some time and check out a great promotion from the folks at GoToMeeting. And what I have for you here tonight is, I develop trust in people that we know and that we can work with. But sometimes when we're doing business, we really don't know someone, and if we can't see them, it's hard to build trust, and that can be tough in a business. With employees working remotely and clients around the world like I have, that's one of the reasons why I'm using GoToMeeting with HD Faces. Just like those of you that are actually watching the video portion of this show, you guys can see me. I obviously can't see you, but you can see through my facial expressions and stuff. You can maybe build trust on what I'm saying in the show and get to see my antics and so forth. But when you can see each other face to face with GoToMeeting with HD Faces, a simple online meeting service with Group HD Video is awesome. It helps you get better connected to the people you depend on for success. And really with GoToMeeting by Citrix, it just takes a webcam and a click to instantly collaborate with your team or clients in real time, really from anywhere in the world, even on the go, from an iPad. Helps builds trust, confidence, and makes meetings more effective. So really what I want you to do here, and this is real simple, I want you to start your own face-to-face online meetings today with GoToMeeting. As a listener or viewer of this show, you can try it for free for 30 days. Don't wait for this special offer. Visit GoToMeeting.com. Click on the Try It Free button and use the promo code podcast. Again, be sure to use the promo code podcast. And it's real simple. I'll bring up the screen here again for you to see. And all you really have to do again is go to GoToMeeting.com, click on the Try It Free button. Okay? And once you're there, you'll be able to enter in your name, email address, and your promo code. And you'll be entered up to get a free 30-day trial on me here from Geek News Central, and try this GoToMeeting with HD Faces. It's absolutely fantastic. I know you're going to love it. Definitely give it a try. And thanks GoToMeeting for being a sponsor here at Geek News Central. Okay, so let's go ahead here and move down. I've got half a dozen or so more articles for you tonight. The Supreme Court has declined to hear a 675,000 file swapping case. It was Tenenbaum versus Sony BMG. Basically, the petition for writ of certiorari, I can't even pronounce it. In other words, the Chief Justices will not see, do not want to hear this case. And so they declined to hear the appeal of admitted file swapper Joel Tenenbaum. So this ruling is going to stand. And so we'll see where this goes. Well, it doesn't go any further, I guess. This guy has to get his checkbook out. So now what is going to happen is the Supreme Court's denial means that the case will return to the trial level, where the judge may use what's called remuter to cut the award to $22.50 per song, and but a remuter ruling will allow the record label's choice to accept the reduced amount or drag Tenenbaum through a second federal trial. So we'll see what happens with this. But the $22.50 will have reduced his payment amount considerably. It won't be anywhere near the $675K that they were initially awarded. And I hope that Sony just gives up on this at this point. All right, the folks over at The Verge are reporting on a very cool new feature, very new cool product coming out by the folks at TiVo. TiVo is introducing a stream transcoder, an IP-based set-top box. This is big news, folks. Now, we knew that TiVo was working on a transcoder already and an IP-based set-top box, but the company unveiled the final version of both. The set-top box works with your TiVo Premier Q and lets you watch both live and recorded TV on additional televisions through the house. And, of course, the new transcoder known as TiVo Stream makes it possible to either stream content to your mobile devices to watch while on your home network or download that you watch later. I don't know if this will work when you are out and about, but really what this is a strike at the Slingbox. And it's yet to be known whether or not they're going to be able to watch this when you're remote somewhere. If I'm here and I've got a TiVo, whether or not I'm going to be able to watch videos from home while I'm away. But definitely will work within your internal network. So this is a big one by TiVo. We'll see where it goes. Next article up. Hey, how many of you got to see the solar eclipse? Well, I didn't get to see it. I missed it. I was out here on the East Coast. But there are some great photos over at Ars Technica, and kind of run through these. And if you missed it, there's just some absolutely fantastic images. Of course, the International Space Station was looking at the moon because they weren't able to photograph, obviously, the sun will burn out its optics, but they were able to get some stuff, that ISS, the Hubble Space Telescope, was actually looking at the moon, the shadow on the actual moon itself, and of course, then the ISS was able to see the shadow of where it was, but definitely some dramatic shots, and it shows the different phases, and so across the country, people got some awesome ones. Here's probably the coolest picture of the day, but even at its maximum, the outer edges of the sun were still visible, and this was at its perfect apogee here, and it obviously made the apparent size smaller relative to that of the sun, so this is pretty cool. What has basically transpired, and of course what will not happen for a very long time, but some great pictures for those of us that missed it. All right, remember that student that was sentenced on the webcam spy? Basically, he'd spied on his roommate, which ultimately apparently causes roommate to commit suicide. He has been sentenced to 30 days in jail. Now, this is an interesting development here. He could have went to jail for as much as 10 years, but he's been ordered to have 3 years of probation. He has to serve, I don't know how much community service, I would assume a considerable amount. He's ordered to pay $11,000 in restitution, probably the cost of the funeral, which is, not very much. So now probably what's going to happen here is, I would imagine, because this was a criminal trial, that this young man will probably be hauled into court on a civil. And but he has about 10 days to appeal this. But he could have got 10 years in prison, and he could have been deported as well. That did not happen. So, haven't heard if there's been any huge outrage on this or not. But again, he was convicted in March of spying on and intimidating his gay roommate, and has again only been sentenced to 30 days in jail by the New Jersey judge. Seems a light to me in the sentence. Considering he could have been into a year. I think people were expecting him to have been incarcerated for at least a year. They knew the judge wasn't going to give him 10, but 30 days seems light for everything that transpired. Okay, let's talk about what the cable companies are up to. The cable companies have decided that they're going to allow Wi-Fi roaming across 50,000 hotspots. Now in Hawaii, my cable company already has Wi-Fi access in a lot of major places, but 5 major cable companies have signed a deal to let customers access Wi-Fi hotspots regardless of which internet provider they use. Now this is smart. Bright House Networks, Cablevision, Comcast, Cox Communications, and Time Warner said that the service will initially include 50,000 hotspots in New York City, surrounding tri-state area, Los Angeles, Central Florida, and Philly, with several additional cities coming later. So they're going to be able to get online by locating what's called cable Wi-Fi, and then they'll have a little network logon. Now, Time Warner Wi-Fi is available to its subscribers or anyone who buys a temporary pass. And again, we've had Time Warner Wi-Fi in Honolulu for a long time, but this is a big move, and I think it's smart and going to give us access to more data when we really need it. Are you in the market right now for a new computer? Well, I want you to think about holding off, especially if you're thinking about buying a Mac. It appears that the Mac Pro price dropped. Best Buy has put the MacBook Pro on sale, $100 off every model. Obviously, it looks like we could be having a new model announced at WWDC in June 11th. So we'll see with this, but there is speculation that the new Mac Pro will have a new design with Retina displays powered by NVIDIA graphics, USB 3.0, and there's a bunch of MacBook Pro predictions already on a variety of websites, but this one was specifically reported over at Gizmodo. So we'll see where this goes, but I'm sure we're going to have a large number of new models of Macs on basically a replacement of all their current models, I would expect. Or Google's rolled out improved Gmail search scans for your emails for better results. So I do a lot of time, you know what I do? I use Thunderbird exclusively for my email, but every now and again I need to find something, and I basically log into Gmail and use the search. I did that today to find a hotel reservation that I have upcoming, and but they say that they've improved Gmail search and scans your emails for better results. They're going to have autocomplete suggestions and so forth. Found what I was looking for this afternoon, so that was the important thing. Hey, Elgato, they're a name that I'm well familiar with, but they've announced what's called the Game Capture HD. Allows you to show off your deathmatch prowess in H.264. So what they're basically doing here is a device that let gamecasters and YouTube walkthrough mavens shed low-resolution over-the-shoulder smartphone footage once for all. The sleek black box sits between the console and display, and basically allows gamers to record their speed runs and kill records for the world to see. Xbox 360 users can daisy chain the gear into their HDMI setup, while PlayStation 3 users will have to use a bundled AV cable to circumvent Sony's stronger copy protection. The footage will then be compressed with the company's 8.264 know-how and pushed to your PC or Mac for uploading. It's going to set you back about $200, but I'm going to tell you, for some of the cost of some of these types of devices, this is a good price. And good on Elgato for doing this. So basically, HDMI out into this box, HDMI out onto your display, and you're good. So there's a lot of shows, a lot of podcasts that are using video capture cards to capture gameplay. And this is just another way they're going to be able to do that. Now, not surprisingly, the MPAA thinks that piracy shouldn't be called, MPA head thinks piracy shouldn't be called theft. What does he want it to called? He backtracked. Chris Dodd backtracked on the association's stance of piracy and comments made to Variety over the weekend. He says, we're in a transformative period with an explosion of technology that's going to need content. We're going to have to be more subtle and consumer-oriented. We're on the wrong track if we describe it as thievery. Now, while he didn't say it wasn't a crime, Dodd's words are quite reversal from the organization's official policy. The MPAA has been, pretty much over the top on making piracy synonymous with theft for many, many years. And maybe the MPAA has just figured out that, we need to make it easier for people to get content, have access to it. We need to, invest in technology. It's going to move things forward. We hope that's what they're going to do. And maybe they're going to change their rhetoric and stance on file sharing. So time will tell on how this all works out, but we will see. All right, last article for you tonight as we're getting done here and doing our virgin run on the HD Mobile Broadcast Studio. I hope you guys have enjoyed the ability for me to bring some of the features I'm able to do when I'm in Honolulu, and basically bring up lower thirds and be able to switch to the actual article for you to actually view. I hope that'll make the video more compelling, of course, here while I'm on the road as we move into the future of using a green screen. But our last article tonight, and then we'll get into email comments, is, sometimes, how many of you plug your device in for charging when the room's dark and you have to turn on a light? Or how many of you got your charger in the bedroom and you don't want to turn the light on to annoy your wife? Well, there's a new thing out called the Cord Light. It's a touch-sensitive iDevice charging cord. Basically, when you touch it, it basically lights up, and you can, shine it as you're plugging it into your connector. It's enough to warrant a $30 price on Kickstarter. The project's off to a decent start with 29,000 raised of the 70,000 goal. This is very cool. So the goal is, again, to have the ability to light up your charger adapter as you're getting ready to plug it in. Perfect for a bedroom, that's for sure. Okay, let me go ahead here and I'll load up the email that we had from the show. Of course, if you've got comments on today's show, I want you to feel free to drop me a line. You can do that at geeknews@gmail.com, and we'll load up the comments here and see what we've got from the last show. Let's see here. I'm waiting for opening folder. Okay, I should have preloaded this. This is taking just a second to download. And how long is it going to take? I don't know. Hey, don't forget the show hotlines at 619-342-7365. All right, I think it opened everything. I want to thank the email from Tim. He says, "Hey, we have a neat show with the solar eclipse on the West Coast. Feels like it's 2 hours later and cooler in the day." So that was very cool. Got that from Tim. Got an email from Andrew. He said, "Hey, Todd, I just came across this amazing photo from Flickr and was wondering, is this what you see every day?" And let me load this for you guys, and let me show you this picture. And when I told Andrew, I replied back to him, I said that I could have a view like this walking about 10 minutes from my house. I can see this type of view, but a different view. This view here is from an area that's called the Poly Lookout. And it looks on the windward side of the island, where it's where they get a lot of rain over at windward. In the distance, in the top right hand of the corner, is the Marine Corps base Kaneohe, where I was stationed at. And then what you see in the foreground, the city in the foreground, is actually Kaneohe. When I was where I live is basically on the opposite side of the island, on the leeward side, where basically from 10 minutes from my house, I can kind of get to a similar view of this, but one that overlooks Pearl Harbor. So a little different view, but definitely it shows the beauty of Honolulu, much different than what's obviously I'm experiencing here in in the DC area. But I want to thank Andrew for sending that over. I got an email here from MS Small Biz. He says, how much is Facebook making off our data on the stock market? And I'll have a link up to that in the show notes. The article that he has. Got an email from Richard. He says, hey man, that SpaceX launch was so disappointing to watch. My head just dropped and I seen them have to abort the launch. I don't know about you, which I can guess how you felt about this, but this sucks. So he links that up in the show notes. I agree, Richard. I got an email here from Bruce. He said, hey Todd, you mentioned a recent show about some new wallpaper with a Faraday cage effect. The negative or business use I have already encountered at a motel chain in the UK, where outside you get good mobile 3G signal, but inside nothing unless directly by a window. Not wallpaper, but part of a mesh stucco construction blocking the cynical. The cynical view was that the motel was able to sell their expensive broadband to travelers, so this mesh wallpaper is not necessarily all positive. Regards, Bruce. I agree. Got an email here from Tim. He said, hey, I haven't listened to the latest show yet, so if you already talked about the story, you can exit. I feel like one of the carriers and service providers, one by one, carriers and service providers slowly chipping away at unlimited, having unlimited data in all things and devices sure was fun while it lasted, and I agree. Now, I still have a Sprint mobile card where I still have unlimited, so Sprint's still out there, but we talked about Verizon last week, and them basically, Verizon said we're going to cut unlimited data as people get new plans and so forth. So sadly, that's the case. Well, kind of a short show tonight. I apologize, but this is a nice version run of the HD mobile broadcast system. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. I'm using a different camera, a different angle, but kind of weird. I checked into this hotel, and my wife and I did a little staycation in Hawaii last week, and we didn't get an upgrade to the room when we checked in. But today when I checked in, or yesterday when I checked in, the guy goes, oh, we upgraded you to a suite. And I'm staying at a Hilton Garden Inn. And I said, you guys have suites? And I was kind of confused because I didn't think they had suites. And so I took my key card, and I was on the first floor. I'm normally on the third floor. And I walked in the room, and lo and behold, what's in the room? Right, I could have used this when we were in a jacuzzi. Other than that, a regular room. So I'm thinking to myself, I could have used the jacuzzi when my wife and I did the staycation over Mother's Day in Honolulu. I could have let her, we could have ushered the kids out, and we could have let her, took a nice bath. And it's kind of a weird place. It's in the room. There's you'd only want to use this if you're only with your spouse. You wouldn't want to use this with kids in the room because it's. But anyway, I've got a jacuzzi in my room. No, I'm not going to use it. It just seems kind of weird taking a jacuzzi bath with by myself, and it just isn't something wrong with that. But anyway, I had to adjust the camera and everything today, so you wouldn't see you can see it a little bit in the corner of the video, but I thought I would share that with you. Okay, thanks for hanging out with me. Thanks for being part of the family and being part of the Ohana. And glad you enjoyed the show. Everyone take care. We'll see you next time. And, of course, what do we say? Aloha.